Hi guys, well it's time, we've started. What I'm doing now is I'm going through and I'm making the hinges for each of the drawers, and they're basically 1 inch strips scored in half and then burnished and applied score tape. So it's really just a production line here, and I got so sick of making all these hinges, but I tell you what, in the end this was the easy part. Creating all the drawers and bits and pieces of the unit was the easiest part. Clamping it together was so stressful and time consuming, and the wait time was just awful, but we got there. So here I go now, just putting the score tape on. Now if you had the 3/8 inch score tape, that would probably be even better. I've only got the 1/4 inch, so that's all I used. The 1/2 inch is probably just a little bit too wide by the time you take into consideration the fold. So there they are now. So what I'm doing is mitering the pieces, the ends of the pieces that are going to be joined sort of together, meeting up with, the side's going to meet up with the back and so forth. However, the ones that are open, so the ones at the front, I tried not to miter those ends. Well, you see soon anyway that I stuff up and miter them instead of not mitering them anyway. So, and the reason I do that is to create less bulk. So here I am, I've laid it out, and this is how it's going. Now, what I'm making now is the drawer casing. Now, and I'm just placing all the hinges there so I know that I've got what I need and where each should go. I have a cutting guide and tutorial on this, and it's linked below in the description. So if you want to go and grab that, work along. Now I decided to do these videos in parts, in a series of videos on it, because it just became too long. Here I am trying to work out what I'm doing. Yep, I have to miter both those ends there. So I just set the scored section on the top of the edge of the piece of chipboard, and then I sort of roll it and glue the back on. And I think that worked for me, but you'll find your own rhythm. So you'll see there why the mitering is important. It just reduces that bulk on the edges there on the corners. Right, so that's the back piece done. Now we're going to do the sides, get them all ready. So I just put on all the hinges first and get it all ready, because then it's just wham bam. And it is important to burnish the tape onto the pieces. So I decided, because I only had a 1/4 inch tape, that I would reinforce that join with some glue, and I used Allemande tacky glue throughout this process. Now what I'm doing here is trying to adjust the pieces so that each piece sort of joins onto the corner edge, like the edge of each. They don't butt up against it. They're sort of on an angle on the inside edges of each other. But, you know, you work it out because it's going to affect the sizing. So once you start doing it one way, you've got to continue to do it that same way. Otherwise, it's the sizing's going to be out, because the chipboard's about 2 to 3 mil, well, 2 mil thick. Maybe 3, not quite. No, it's probably only about 2 mil thick. It's fairly medium weight chipboard, I would say it is. So really burnishing that on, sticking it down, making sure it's stuck. And now, so we've got the base, the sides and the back, and now we're going to adhere the top. Now I do put the glue in the crease of the hinge, but you could also put it on the edge of the chipboard. Either way, it's going to get attached. The glue's going to spread to wherever it can in that little section. So, bit fiddly trying to align the front pieces more than anything, because you know it's not going to be perfect. Like, it can be a hair's breadth away from the sizing of each of them. So you just got to understand that that's going to happen and not dwell on it. So there we go. I saw that that wasn't quite sitting on the corners of each of them, so I've readjusted there. And that's it. That's the first drawer casing done. Okay. And all I'm doing now is making the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So I'm not going to show you all of them. No, this one here is actually the drawer that goes in the outer casing. So I show you how I do that. So each drawer is put together the same way. It's just the size of the drawers that is different, the size of the pieces of chipboard. And each casing is made in the exact same way as all the others. So we've got the base and the two sides and the back and the front for the drawer. And I don't make the drawer, what do I call those? The drawer fronts or drawer covers until the end, once it's all put together, so I know exactly what width and height I need. So pretty much doing the same thing. Cut, fold, tape all the hinges, cut the chipboard, apply the tape, and then put it all together. Now I ended up with this one wanting just to put 2 or 3 drawers at the bottom, 2 drawers I think at the bottom and 3 above or whatever. Anyway, I ended up putting something, gluing 2 pieces together on the wrong side of each other. So it ended up bigger than what I initially planned on, which is okay, it's fine. It sits on my desk nicely. So I'll just put my glue bottle at the back there to keep that back piece sitting upright and ensuring it's stayed glued. And I think the quicker you work on this part, the better. Yeah, I even burnished the where the crease is, because that's where the glue is, so it's actually spreading it out over all the surfaces, so that helps in the strength of it, I feel. Now, is there an easier way to do all this? Probably, but this is the way I do it. This is the way I've always done it. I've been making drawers and units for years. So there we go. There's the drawer, and there's the drawer cover, and the drawer goes in fine. So I'm not doing the drawer fronts just yet. So just cutting off a bit of excess hinge there. This is where I thought I was going to have the 3 smaller ones on the bottom and the 2 on the top, and then I'd make another one, the width that's remaining. But in the end, I thought the larger ones, because of what they were going to hold, like the larger scissors and heavier things, I thought it was best that they go on the bottom. A lot ticking over my head here, just trying to work it out. Anyway, what have I done now? I've made that smaller drawer section. I do end up using it, I think, but I don't use it the way that I thought I was going to use it. So pretty much drawer casing, same as before. It's just a smaller version. And I ended up putting my bulldog clips in that one, which worked out really well. So it wasn't a big waste of space. Okay, here I go. I'm going to make the marker unit. Now these are going to be the ramps, so to give it an angle so that when the pens are inserted that they don't roll out. They're not at much of an angle, just enough for it to for the pens to sit in there. The longer ones, really. I mean, the other ones are fine, the shorter ones, but the longer ones tend to sort of fall out a bit. So therefore, well, hence the ramps. So I've just cut a rectangle and cut side one corner to the opposite corner, and I'm going to glue 2 of them together twice. And then, so I don't make, yeah, I did mention this earlier, I don't make the marker unit like with all the slats in it, the inside, because I have done that before, and it's a real long drawn out process. However, I don't have the video because I think I did it on Ustream many years ago, and I don't think I have the video. If I do, I'll link it below, but I'm pretty sure I don't. So I do have the instructions that went with that all those years ago, so that will help you, all the cutting guide, etc. So now I'm making the unit that contains those slats. And that short piece at the front is just going to hide the ramp and give the unit something to sit on, pretty much. So yeah, it's just pretty much a another casing, because it's going to have stuffed up there somehow. I don't know what I did. There, wrong way, wrong side, idiot. It happens. Yep, there's that front piece going on there. Okay, now I needed to do this first before I... yeah, I think so. I mean, I could have put the ramps on the sides first and then... but anyway, it is what it is. Now I'm going to... oh, the hinges for here. Because I want to put a solid ramp, so that it will sit on those side ramps. So I need to attach it to that front section there. And before I attach it, I've got to attach the ramps. I just had some dried glue on there, so I'm just sanding that off to get it nice and even. Doesn't have to look pretty. You're not going to see. It's going to be hidden. So that's where it's going in there. And that was a hard part to try and hold the glue until it set, because there was nowhere that I could clamp it. Well, not at the front anyway. I don't think, from what I remember. Yeah, make sure you put the right angled side at the bottom, not the angled section. So I do have a bulldog clip. Yeah, I should have adhered the ramp edges before I adhered the front. So yes, I should have done that in hindsight. But I didn't, so I worked with it. And I'm just putting that beside the ramp there just to push it against the edge. And do the same to the other one. Make sure, measure twice, cut once, measure twice, glue once. Don't want to have to peel it off. I've done that. Yeah, I don't think I put any glue on the edges of the first one there, so it's important, I guess, if you, yeah, glue it all the edges that are being attached. So there we go. Fiddly but necessary. I mean, you could do away with this section and maybe you could buy a something from the cheap shops, the Dollar Tree, whatever, that you could build around so that, you know, the size of it fit into your unit. So now I'm putting this ramp cover on, and that's what the slats will sit on. Showing you there that it's right to the, not over the top of that front piece, but just nudging the corner edges, the sides of it. Okay. Yep, clamp that down. Looks a bit out of whack to me, but once we get the top on and the back, it'll all be good. So now, oh, what am I doing? Put the top on before the back? No, put the back on first. It's been a while. I tried to have the voiceover for this done and the videos edited before now, but I've had a week with no voice. I don't know what it was. I had the COVID test, the RSV test, and the flu test, but all negative, so I don't know what it was. I was just tired and sore throat and a loss of voice. So, okay, so just testing to make sure it fits in, and yes it does, and I want to leave it in there, so I want to encase it. There we go, and it's done. It's showing you there. Okay, those slats do line up eventually. You just move them over. Alright, what am I doing here? I'm doing another... Oh no, this is the ATG holder. That's it. I did originally just put it like that, but I ended up putting a back on it.